Hello, dear internet strangers, from a fellow internet stranger. It doesn't matter whether you're new here or not. Our community is so tiny. So tiny. We're only like 9 people or something like that. Some days 8, some days 9, some days 10, some days 8. I don't know. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that, whatever, let's just get into it. I have a lot of notes, so I just kind of put them over here. If you see me staring over here, it's a weird angle. In general, I'm in a car waiting for my kids to get out of summer camp. So yeah, when I was 18 though, I was dating someone. For context, I am now 30. I will be 31 soon. But I was dating someone who was non-religious. He was like openly atheist. And that someone is now my husband. And I was raised, and he was actually also raised, Seventh-day Adventist. And when my church found out that I had moved out of my home to go live with him, they took a vote on whether I should continue to be a part of the church, if I should continue to be a member. And I lost the vote. My dad is and was a prominent member of the church, outspoken, very outspoken. And I guess I've always felt like for that reason, the rules of the church and membership were applied very harshly to me in a way that like they weren't applied to other people, because they wanted to make an example out of me. At least that's how I feel. That's just a feeling. I don't know that for sure, but I think that I was made an example of. So I moved out. I went, lived with my husband, now husband. And from that point on, I have felt like I became a permanent topic of conversation. And that is not just a feeling. Actually, that is like fact. There have been confirmed instances of this feeling being real. Like people who I know are like, oh my gosh, can you believe that I went to this party and like they were talking about you? And I'm like, bro, this happened like 12 years ago. What is going on? Why can't people find a better topic of conversation? I am not that interesting. My life is not that interesting. Go talk about someone else, you know? But yeah, everyone had an opinion. Everyone has an opinion. And I think the worst part is that like everyone has your story or like what they think your story is. And like your story starts to take a life of its own. Like you don't even have control over your own story anymore. You don't fully exist in a way. Like there's this version that exists, a version of you that exists that is not you, and it never was you, and it never will be you, and you have no control, 0 control over that version of you. So today I just wanted to talk about some of the things that have come out of that experience. One is cutting people, not physically, okay? Just like cutting people out of my life. I feel like when you get voted out of something, like literally I got voted out of this like membership roster or whatever. My language in relation to religion in English is awful. Like I can't even use words right now. My vocabulary around religion in English is not great because my entire religious experience was in Spanish. So I'm sorry about that. It's very different. It's also just very different. But being the person who gets voted out of something like that, being told that like, no, you don't belong, you can't participate, I feel like you learn that people are not permanent, that they're not going to stay there forever. So I'm very good at cutting people out of my life, preemptively sometimes. Like if I just get like a little feeling of something, like something's off, I just stop talking to you altogether. I want to be chosen. I want to be accepted. And if I'm not fully chosen and accepted, I keep my distance. I'm not saying that these things are healthy. I'm not saying that these things are things that you should do. I'm just saying these are things that I do. This is how I experience life. On top of being neurodivergent, like there's also this added layer of like trauma. Not to mention like past trauma, but whatever. But anyways, yeah, that's the honest reality. Like I set boundaries. Too many boundaries. Or none at all. which is also really funny. Like, in my quest to be accepted, if I feel like I am fully accepted, I'm like, boundaries? What are boundaries? You can have all of me. If you just accept me for who I am, I will give you every little last bit of myself. And that has gotten me into a lot of trouble. So I guess it kind of goes either way. You just never know. You just never know which version you're going to get of me. Yeah. Also, like, a positive, though, is that I don't really ask for permission to exist anymore, which is kind of nice. Like, I just exist. I'm just me. I am who I am. Like, some of the worst things that people imagine happening to them have already happened to me. So now I'm just kind of like, it is what it is. What's the worst that can happen? A lot of those worst thing that can happen scenarios have already played out for me. I've touched on this a little bit already, but like impermanence and non-attachment, I'm really not attached to people like that. Like, losing everyone, because like I literally lost touch with my family for a whole year. I think it teaches you that like nothing is fixed. People are not fixed. They just kind of pass through in your life, especially people who are not family. Like, I reconciled with my family. I was going to say they reconciled with me, but I don't know if that applies. I reconciled with my family. But with the rest of the people, like, they're just kind of out there in the world. No reconciliation ever happened. But yeah, I don't say that to sound cold. I think I just say it because, I don't know, like, I don't expect people to be permanent. You've got your life and I've got mine, and maybe it also keeps me from being so devastated if and when people like decide to leave, you know. I think it's a little bit nihilistic, if I'm being entirely honest. I think there is a little bit of nihilism in there. Although I might want to like paint it as non-attachment. I don't know. Also, like, my drive, I think for the longest time, I wanted to prove everyone wrong. Like, every one of those people wrong. Like, oh, this is like a huge mistake. Oh, this is the worst thing she could have ever done. Like, oh, she had so much promise. And like, look at what she did now. Whatever. And for a long time, it made it feel like my drive was fake. Like, oh, why can't I just be like intrinsically motivated? But then I realized I am also intrinsically motivated. Like, I don't just try to do things to prove other people wrong. Like, I have my own internal motivations for doing things. So I want to build a life that I respect, that I can look back on my deathbed and be like, yeah, that was my life. I lived a life. I lived the shit out of that life. But I will be honest, some days that was the thing that was getting me out of bed, of like, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to prove them wrong. And no, not so much. Maybe I have some days like that, but not so much. And the last thing is loneliness, because I got to get to my French class. But loneliness, for sure. There's two sides to that coin. The good half is there's something nice about not performing, not adjusting for or to other people. That's nice. Having your own thoughts, your own space, without being like influenced by whatever like church culture is. That's really nice. I like my own company. I trust my own reading of things, of life, of events, of interactions. I trust that. I trust other people's too that I have close to me, but it is nice to not have so much noise around me, and I've practiced being alone so much that it just kind of feels like it's second nature to me. But the other half is that it is lonely. It is in fact lonely. Like, there's nothing else, there's nothing more profound to that, I guess. It's just like, some nights it's peace and quiet, and some nights it's like, oh, I really wish I had someone to talk to. That isn't my husband and my kids and my parents and my family, you know. But it's hard. It can be hard. It just kind of depends on the lens of the day, what lens you have on that day. Anyways, I've been thinking a lot about this as like, I'm about to be a stranger in a whole new country with different language, different people. different rooms. What is nice though is that I'm not going to know anyone there. And no one there has heard about me, taken a vote about me, on me. Anyways, I don't know if any of that will resonate or help anyone, but if it does, great. If it doesn't, okay. I'm glad that it doesn't. I'm glad that you don't feel lonely. I'm glad that you don't cut people out of your life just because you feel like maybe they're going to leave you. Yeah. Okay, bye.